Hi there. In this video I'm going to talk about the modal verb must, how to form it and when to use it. So let's look at how to form phrases with must to start with. Okay, so you take a subject I, then your modal verb must, and then the infinitive of your verb without to. So for example, I must go. I must pay. To make it negative, put a not after the must. I must not go, or I mustn't, contraction, go. To make questions, invert the must and the subject. Must I go? Must you go? Okay? Now, I want to talk a little bit about tenses with must, because this is difficult. Must we only use for obligation in the present or the future. So, for example, I must pay this bill today. I must pay this bill tomorrow. Okay? This is something important to do in the present or in the future. To talk about obligation in the past, we must use had to. So, I had to pay this bill yesterday. Okay? So notice the past of must in the positive is had to. Now, we can also use must in the negative. I mustn't go there again today. I mustn't go there again tomorrow. In the past, we have to use I couldn't, because the problem is, if I say I didn't have to go, the meaning of didn't have to means something is not necessary, and this is not the same as mustn't. Okay? So, just to recap, must for present and past, must for present and future, yeah, in the positive. Had to for must in the past. Mustn't for an obligation for something you must not do in the present or in the future. But I couldn't for something that was prohibited in the past. Okay? That's quite complicated. So, now, let's look at the meanings of must. Okay, we use must for things that are important to do. As my example, I must pay this bill. It's important for me to pay this bill. Or things it's important not to do. I mustn't go there again. It's important not to go there again. Yeah? We use must for rules or legal obligations. I must pay my taxes. You must obey the speed limit. Okay? Or rules or obligations about things that are prohibited. You mustn't exceed the speed limit. You mustn't break the law. Okay, so these are things that are prohibited in the present or in the future. Okay? We can also use must to talk about something that we are certain about, but we are not present. So, or we do not have the exact physical evidence to prove it's true. For example, we've been working for a long time. It must be 1 o'clock. Okay? I am certain it is 1 o'clock. You must be tired. You have been working all day. I am certain that you are tired, because I have seen you working all day. Okay? So that's your must. Yes? So let's just recap. Must for things that are important to do. Mustn't for things that are important not to do. Must for rules or obligations that you have to do. Mustn't for rules or obligations that are things that are prohibited. And must for speculation, for certainty in the present. Note, we can use must have. He must have gone. Okay, this is must in the past, but this is only for things that we are certain about. This is not for obligation. So, for example, he must have arrived by now means I am certain that he has arrived. Okay? But in the concept of obligation, you cannot use must have done something. Okay, thanks for watching. Feel free to comment. If you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up, and ciao.